Welcome to the second annual Media Fibbies, a year-end review including awards for the dumbest, the worst, the cringiest, and the wokest moments from mainstream media 2022. I'm your host, Ben Shapiro. This video is sponsored by Black Rifle Coffee. Alrighty, today's first category. Most spin. Last year famously was Kelly Stavist, the Let's Go Brandon Award.
You can hear the chants from the crowd. Let's go, Brandon.
This year, the award goes to Karine Jean-Pierre. I mean, that's literally her job, is to pretend that Joe Biden is a sentient human being. But she's really, really bad at it. Every press secretary does a lot of spin, but Karine Jean-Pierre is officially the world's worst press secretary. We have many examples of Karine Jean-Pierre being terrible at her job. Here's just one.
What is the latest update the White House has received on the current formula situation across the country?
Yeah, let me see if I have anything new for you on that. Okay. I don't have anything new. I know we made some announcements last week.
Our next category, biggest L. Who took the biggest L this year? Wow, incredibly close race between Will Smith, Ye West, and Amber Heard. Will Smith, because he just slapped Chris Rock on stage for no apparent reason. Oh, wow! And Amber Heard, because she actually lost a defamation suit against her ex-husband, Johnny Depp. But Ye West has to win this category because Will Smith, that dude will survive. His career will be okay eventually. Amber Heard, she didn't have like a tremendous career in the first place. Ye West went from being worth about $2 billion to being worth maybe less than I am because he was standing for Hitler. It turns out that when you wear a black hood over your face while talking about how Hitler was a wonderful dude.
I see good things about Hitler also.
And carrying a small net and a Yoo-hoo bottle talking about Netanyahu.
What did you think about that, Netan? You are an insane person.
With Nick Fuentes. Yeah, that is a bad look by Ye West. We're on to the next category, which is most lecherous leech. Ooh, like people who have glommed onto power and used it for their own power. Man, neck and neck race between Hunter Biden, who ran around picking up bags of cash using his daddy's name while snorting Parmesan cheese off the carpet, and Meghan Markle, whose job it was to be a suitcase lady.
Meghan, open the case.
And then she was on the hit series Suits, piece of Shakespearean art, and then parlayed that into being a princess and now spends her days manipulating her dim bulb husband into ripping on his family so she can get paid and pretend to be a woke warrior princess. I'm going to go Meghan Markle here. Hunter Biden is bad, but Hunter Biden is preceded in his lecherousness and leechness by many other presidential family members. But Meghan Markle is truly unprecedented in how obnoxious she is.
Pleasure to meet you, Your Majesty. Was that okay?
Ripping on the Queen because you are too foolish to understand that there's actual pomp and circumstance attached to being the Queen of England. And yet it's all about you and your race and everybody's mean to you.
It's about hatred. It's about race.
While you sit there in your palatial multi-million-dollar estate in Los Angeles getting contracts from Netflix. Ugh, Meghan Markle, ugh. The next category is most likely to desecrate a historic artifact. Lizzo. Lizzo, yes.
One second.
Now, here's the thing about Lizzo. She took James Madison's crystal flute, and she played it very nicely in the Library of Congress, as I pointed out, and it was delightful. She played some classical music on the flute, and that was fine, because cool. And then she went to a concert, and she twerked with it. And it was really quite horrifying. And it was obviously designed to elicit a response from everybody who politically opposes the Democrats. That is why they made a big deal, not out of her playing it in the Library of Congress, which would have been fine, but her twerking with it in concert. And the next category, most underpaid person in American political life. Elsie Stecker. You've never heard of Elsie Stecker, have you? Joe Biden's sign language person. That is a rough job, because how exactly do you sign language? And also, the funniest part of Joe Biden's speeches is where there's a shot of Elsie Stecker in the bottom right-hand corner.
9.5 million turkeys. I tell you what, that's like some of the countries I've been to.
And she just looks bewildered. She's like, well, what am I supposed to do now? It's just like,
mobilize true international effort to pressure.
Because no one knows. He's not speaking English anymore. The next category is biggest reach. Biggest reach. Okay, so we have a lot of contenders this year for biggest reach. Like, what was the most preposterous argument? But the winner today, Stacey Abrams, who actually said that ultrasounds are a conspiracy of the patriarchy.
There is no such thing as a heartbeat at 6 weeks. It is a manufactured sound designed to convince people that men have the right to take control of a woman's body.
Nope, not how science works, but the good news is that Stacey Abrams is still governor of Georgia, meaning she was never governor of Georgia. All right, next category, most nationally damaging fake news story. Well, there are a bunch on COVID, but we're going to have to go with the changing definition of inflation. The Biden administration did an amazing job this year of pretending that inflation was not that bad.
Most of the price increases we've seen are expected to be temporary.
That's a transitory thing.
There's no reason to think that they're going to keep going up a lot.
The way they did this is they just kept setting the baseline at whatever last month was. So if the inflation baseline rose 0.1% from last month, this meant that inflation was going amazing, even if year over year there was like an 8% inflation rate. The fact that they can play around with terms this way just demonstrates how the manipulation of language is a key tool in the Democratic arsenal. But yes, the definition of inflation changing, that is the most nationally damaging fake news story of the year. And the next category, Lifetime Achievement in Hackery Award, goes to Whoopi Goldberg. This is overdue, really overdue. Whoopi Goldberg is maybe the biggest hack in American media. Her statements this year that everything is racism except for the Holocaust.
It's not about race. It's not about race.
What is it about?
Because it's about man's inhumanity to man.
After all, the Jews are white people and the Nazis are white people, so this means it wasn't about race. It was about some other form of intersectional victimization. We're on to the next category, which is Worst Influencer. Wow, there's so many terrible influencers this year. Bella Hadid is a terrible influencer. You got a bunch of Hollywood stars who are terrible influencers. But the clear winner in this category, runaway winner in this category, Dylan Mulvaney, a dude who says he is a lady, and then goes to the White House and does an entire sit-down with the President of the United States in which this dude, cosplaying as a lady, is treated as though he is a lady and an advocate for female rights. This person got a contract from like a tampon company, which raises a few very, very awkward questions, considering that Dylan Mulvaney actually does not have a place to put the tampon. Well, folks, each and every night I have to go through the worst of media for my show. It's hard to keep awake while doing that, which is why I rely on Black Rifle Coffee Company. They're helping you knock out your holiday shopping this year with a ton of awesome new products. Shop the best brewing gear, thermoses, mugs, and apparel designed for folks who love country and coffee. Black Rifle sources the most exotic roasts from around the globe. All coffee is roasted here in the United States by veteran-led teams of coffee experts. Stuff your Christmas stockings with the latest roasts from America's Coffee for 10% off with my code Shapiro. Better yet, sign your Secret Santa up for a coffee club subscription. Imagine the joy of a pre-scheduled coffee delivery, your favorite roasts when you need the most. It's the gift that keeps on giving. Black Rifle Coffee Company is veteran-founded and operated. They take pride in serving coffee and culture to the people who love America. Every purchase you make with Black Rifle helps support veteran and first responder causes. Go to blackriflecoffee.com, use promo code Shapiro for 10% off coffee, coffee gear, apparel, or when you sign up for a new coffee club subscription. Black Rifle Coffee, supporting veterans and America's coffee. Use promo code Shapiro for 10% off. The next category is most embarrassing moment. A lot of bad moments this year. Joe Biden's bike fail was the close second place contender, where Joe Biden fell off a stationary bicycle. It wasn't like he was moving the bike and then the bike went over a bump or something. He literally stopped his bike and then he fell over. But the most embarrassing moment is when a now member of the Supreme Court, Ketanji Brown Jackson, literally was asked what a woman was and couldn't answer the question, even though she is apparently a historic woman. She said, "I'm not a biologist."
Can you provide a definition for the word woman?
I can't.
You can't?
Not in this context.
So
I'm not a biologist.
Which is not even the right answer according to trans advocates, because the answer is not supposed to be a biological one. It's time for the next category, worst show. Well, this is a clear winner. I mean, there are a lot of bad shows this year, really a number of tremendously terrible shows, but the worst show of this year and of all time, Gutsy. It is literally Hillary and Chelsea Clinton rolling around the country, talking with obnoxious people about political points that make no sense, while feeding themselves at the same time. It's pretty horrible. In case you didn't see it, I actually cut a video of myself watching Gutsy.
Gutsy, Mask Mandate, Fauci.
Because it is just the worst thing that has ever happened. I mean, it's like on a list of things that have happened in human history. It's like bubonic plague. Gutsy. The long-awaited Starving Polar Bear Award for Achievement in Climate Reporting this was a really close race between morons who actually glued their heads to paintings and threw tomato soup at paintings. Controversial win for formerly the artist known as Rainn Wilson. You remember him from being Dwight Schrute and nothing else. Literally nothing else.
Attention! Employees of Dunder Mifflin!
Well, now, in order to demonstrate that he cares about climate change, he has officially changed his name to Rainfall Heatwave Rising Sea Levels Wilson, which does not even make any sense. What does falling rain have to do with heat wave and rising sea levels? It's just a bunch of words in a row.
I pledge allegiance to the flag.
But at least we can always appreciate when he was an uber crazy semi-conservative on The Office. And the next category, the Wizard of Word Salad. It is a wizardess because the winner is Kamala Harris.
You're a wizard, Harry.
That lady, she loves a lot of things. She loves school buses.
Who doesn't love a yellow school bus? There's something about and
She loves Venn diagrams.
I love Venn diagrams. Those 3 circles. I asked my team to do a Venn diagram. I love Venn diagrams.
Everything she says is a predictive text mechanism. She starts a sentence, she doesn't know what the next word is going to be.
Sometimes I'll start a sentence, and I don't even know where it's going.
But the good news is the algorithm spits out a word. Now, it might not make tons of sense what comes out next from her face, but it's still a sentence, sort of. The Late Night Loser Award for Cringiest Late Night Host. Oh, so many nominations. This is easily, every year, the hottest category. So here are the nominees. Jimmy Fallon.
Stop.
Stephen Colbert. Trevor Noah.
You can't call Mom. I never touch your face. Never touch your face.
Jimmy Kimmel.
Black Lives Matter. Louder, Jimmy. Black Lives Matter. Louder, Jimmy.
So Fallon falls out of the running pretty early here because he's just not up to par. He's just not up to that competition. Trevor Noah is leaving his show and also is on a little watch show on Comedy Central. So it comes down to Stephen Colbert and Jimmy Kimmel. Stephen Colbert, just an agitprop activist on behalf of the Biden administration. And Jimmy Kimmel, who is all of that, plus preachy as all living hell. We're going to go with Jimmy Kimmel. Mainly because at least Stephen Colbert never had the temerity to bring his wife on to lecture the audience about abortion.
I'm sounding the alarm, Jimmy. Abortion rights are gone or in danger in 26 states.
How Jimmy Kimmel went from being the sports guy on K-Rock 106.7 in Los Angeles to being the woke pope of late night comedy is beyond me, but apparently that's a thing. The next category is Worst Trade Deal. Leah Thomas is one of the nominees who traded dignity, like not racing against ladies, for social media clout, like beating the hell out of ladies because he's a dude. Or the U.S. government trading Brittany Griner for the Merchant of Death. I mean, most obvious call here is Brittany Griner for the Merchant of Death, as Blaine Crane put it, the only WNBA trade that anyone has ever noticed. I'm going to go Brittany Griner for the Merchant of Death is the worst trade deal. That was not a good trade deal.
The worst trade deal maybe ever signed anywhere.
And the next category, Cringiest Race Pandering. Again, lots of nominees here, pretty much all Democrats. The winner this year, the greatest doctor of all time, Jill Biden, saying that Latinos are akin to breakfast tacos.
The diversity of this community, as unique as the breakfast tacos here in San Antonio.
And also, Si se puede.
Si se puede. The future is ours.
We're on to the next category, which is most leftist tears. Close call. Roe versus Wade being overturned and Elon Musk buying Twitter. This just demonstrates how crazy the left is. The answer obviously should be Roe versus Wade being overturned, right? I mean, that's like an actual major policy change in the United States that really invades their perception of what they think is a right to kill unborn babies. They were more upset about Elon Musk buying Twitter.
Elon Musk has sealed the deal to take over Twitter.
Looks like Twitter's gone. Elon Stalin is taking over, so f*** you, Twitter.
Elon Musk. I deactivated my Twitter account.
Which just shows you where their priorities are. Because none of them are actually obtaining abortions. They're upper-class white liberals. But many of them are on Twitter, and they're mad that Elon Musk bought Twitter. So that would be the most leftist tiers, Elon Musk buying Twitter. Well, there you have it, gang. The very best of the absolute worst in our media institutions. Comment which one was your favorite award, and have a very happy new year. Hopefully things will be better from our media next year. But they won't, so get ready for the third Fibbies.